Lance, can you just speak to D and obviously in your room? I mean, how disappointed are you for him? Because it seemed like the other night he had two catches early and was kind of in the flow. And then in regards to maybe some guys that you think can step up or need to step up.
Yeah, really disappointed and hurt for D. I know that he worked extremely hard all off season, spring, summer, and training camp. He had a great training camp. In fact, he was our offensive breakout player of camp. And he was really starting to come on, and so really hurt for him. I know that he's obviously disappointed, and it's one of those things that out of his control, but he was starting to play really well. Had two big catches in the game, and in the last two games has had three big catches, three explosive catches for us. And so we will miss him. And so wish him the best in his recovery, and hope to get him back, just as soon as possible when he heals up. In his absence, we'll have some guys step up. I think some guys that you'll see a lot more of is, Jalen Carter, Josh Johnson, and we've got to get the freshmen ready to go, as well. Chris Bell and Chance Morrow, bring those guys up and get those guys up to speed.
Lance, you don't get any Abby questions, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The passing attack is down at the bottom of the ACC. How disappointed are you in that? What can you do to improve it, and how much is Cunningham involved in that?
Yeah, have not been able to get the pass game going like we thought early on and wanted. So obviously, have to do a much better job in all areas of the pass game. I think one of the things that leads to that, is particularly in the passing game, is chemistry and the quarterback and receiver trust factor, me to you factor. When you look at it, I mean, other than Marshawn, everybody else that he's throwing to is new. And so I think just being able to trust those guys and find chemistry and know where they're going to be, and little nuances in the passing game that are holding us back. And it's not just one person. It's not just Malik. It really falls on all of us, from receivers to quarterback to, pass protection. All of those things, are included. And so I was, the positive part of it was, I thought we took a step in the right direction in the pass game against Florida State. Still not where we want to be, and we're going to continue to work hard to develop our passing game and continue to improve that.
You expect Tyon to be back and carry a full load on Saturday?
We do, yes. Expect Tyon to be back. Like Coach said, he was a game-time decision. He was really, starting to heal up towards the end of the week last week, and just wasn't able to go, but feel like he's going to be ready to go with the extra days of rest. And I thought, in the game, Cooley and Jawar, played really well, ran really hard, and so was excited to get them mixed in more, and I thought they did a nice job. I thought we ran the ball really, really well. The offensive line, tight ends, everybody involved with the blocking unit, really came off and established a new line of scrimmage, and we're able to create some big plays in the run game.
Lance, Scott mentioned the pre-snap penalties as something that are particularly frustrating on offense. So what do you see going into those when you look back at them, and how do you try to correct those moving forward?
Yeah, pre-snap penalties and turnovers, we can't have them. Absolutely have to be better at those things, and it's shown up in all three games. And, I think it comes down to discipline and focus. And so, we've talked about it as a staff. We've talked about it to the offensive unit, and really pointing out those times and areas where we have to be locked in, and they're showing up in critical areas and critical moments, in the red zone and on third downs. And those are things that you can't have. And so, I put that on me and our staff. We've got to do a better job and continue to get these guys ready, and really show them, those penalties cost you yards, they cost you points, and they cost you games.
Lance, the last couple games early on, you guys have had moments where you go a little bit of tempo, had some success, but then kind of ease off and back up and go into a normal, just kind of huddle routine. What have you seen out of the times you have gone tempo, and is that something you want to try and incorporate more in the offensive attack going forward?
Yeah, I thought the tempo has been really good for us, but I thought mixing our tempos has also been good. It's been a great balance between the mixture of tempos, whether it's no huddle, going fast, looking to the sideline, also the huddle plays that we do, and so just mixing all of those really gives us an advantage to mix the tempos, not just always being in one or the other.
Maybe an impossible question, I don't know, but you guys are generating yardage a lot. 500 yards last game, probably not as many points as you want. What do you look at in your own play calling or situational stuff to maybe see where you can identify some ways to do that, or is it just a matter of finishing plays sometimes?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, we moved the ball really well against Florida State. We had 500 yards of offense and 31 points, but we left a lot of points out there. And I think, again, it comes back to penalties and turnovers in critical junctions of the game, whether it's getting in the red zone and getting behind the sticks or getting in the red zone. We had 1st and goal at the 6, and then wind up fumbling on we take a sack on 1st down, then on 3rd down, we had the fumble that cost us points. And so really just eliminating, those negative plays. And, when you talk about South Florida, they're playing really well, and their defense is ranked 19th in the country. They do a great job. I think they're 1st in the country at, tackles for loss. And they're one of the top teams in the country at generating turnovers. So we've got another big test this weekend and another opportunity, and that's really the challenge. Look, we're all disappointed and frustrated with how the game went and how it ended, and we know that we left points on the board and we, didn't do our job and finish. But this is another opportunity where, a big challenge for us to go out and go 1-0 this week.
Just going back to Friday night, on the last play, there were 2 receivers on the sideline. Was Malik trying to hit the first guy and overthrew him, or he threw it short and the guy stepped in front of the second guy?
Yeah, he had scrambled around, had, bought some time in the pocket. There were 2, as he gets out of the pocket, we work what's called scramble drill, and we work those scramble drill rules with the quarterbacks and receivers. And so, he had 2 guys, mirroring him, and he was throwing to Amari, who was the first guy there. Just had a little bit of pressure. He had the D lineman in his face, tried to navigate the throw over the top of him, and it sailed a little bit.
Coach, Braden, I think, is coming in here later. Can you talk about what he brings to the offense? A couple big 3rd down catches at Central Florida, and also, I know you can't run it every week, but he can throw the ball a little bit too. The big play against Syracuse, and he had a touchdown pass last year.
Yeah, Braden's done a great job. I tell you, he worked himself back from injury. He got injured last year in the Florida State game. Had a really, really tough lower body injury. And he worked his tail off, rehabbing and getting himself back healthy and preparing the right way. Stayed into it mentally during the spring, even though he wasn't going through practice. But he's done a really nice job for us. He's a guy that Malik trusts. He's been great for us on 3rd downs and in the slot for us. Thanks.